Hey everyone, before we get too deep into the fall and then following that winter fragrances, right? The vanillas, the warm ambers, the woody, spicy, mysterious, heavier fragrances. I thought I would hit you with something a little bit lighter still and more feminine, but that has a little bit of a gourmand touch. I've got 8 beauties here that I think are perfect for this sort of transition time of year. Some of you are still straight up in super hot weather if you're in the northern hemisphere, and look, if you're in the southern hemisphere, these are still great as you're transitioning into spring. So they're still great transition fragrances. Yes, I'm still on that kick. I just posted a transition fragrance video last weekend. So check that out if you're interested. By the way, I have a whole fall list of fragrance videos that will be linked down in the description box. I'll put it at the end of the pinned comment as well, at the top of the comments in the comment section, if you would like to just binge watch fall content. So, what these all have in common for me is that they have a feminine, delicate nature to them. They have maybe some florals and some touches of gourmand. Some of them are a little bit heavier than others. I have 8, and so I'll do the lighter 4 first, and then the other 4 that have a little bit more texture and oomph to them in the second half of the video. So, I want to start off with the latest treasure, and in addition to my collection that I fell in love with the second time that I sampled it. The first time I sampled it, I thought it was okay, put the sample aside, didn't think about it again. And I always like to retry my samples because I find the biggest treasures on the second or third try. So on the second try, I was like, wait a minute, I almost passed on you. I fell in love with this and ended up ordering a full bottle. This is called BEIRUT Baklava. I've mentioned this in a recent video. I think the August Fragrance Awards is where I featured this one. Look at how pretty this bottle color is. I might make this my scent of the day. I don't have a scent on yet, and it's beautiful. That is so good. So I want to share with you a little bit of the description. It opens with sparkling bergamot, sweetened by syrupy orange blossom, spiced with green cardamom. The heart melts into soft vanilla cream, fluffed with heliotrope, which then leads into the signature baklava accord. Toasted, nutty, syrupy, and buttery facets marry together the senses of taste and smell. And then in the dry down, it says there's subtle leather. I don't get leather in the dry down at all, intertwined with vanilla and aged cedar wood. This is supposed to remind you of a bake shop. The way that pastry may waft out of a bake shop, it has sort of a buttery smell to it. Perhaps it's even doughy, it's sugary. It smells like desserts. And this is what I call a very subtle, polite gourmand. So I would wear this to work happily and not ever feel like I was too sickeningly sweet, overwhelmingly sweet, anything like that. It's so subtle and so pretty. It's like a very happy, soft, sweet gourmand with these sort of uplifting notes in it. There's a brightness to this. You know what? It smells almost like you're having a lovely dessert at a pastry shop and you've got a tea that has just the slightest hint of citrus in it, sort of in the distance, right? That's wafting up enough to like lighten up the sense at the table. That's what this reminds me of. It is all of the things that it says. I don't get like baklava per se. Baklava has a very sort of sweet, sticky, syrupy smell to me. I don't necessarily get that. It's almost like an artistic interpretation of what baklava might smell like. So it is a little bit nutty, not very toasted to me, sort of buttery, definitely fluffy heliotrope. It says vanilla cream. It's almost like a whipped vanilla cream. Like there's something airy, light, fluffy, delicate, easy. This is easygoing gourmand for me. And I think it's gorgeous. Maybe one of my most treasured purchases of the year. It's currently on back order on ScentSplit. Unfortunately, I'm not sure where else you can get it, but you can definitely still get samples. You can get the 2 mil, the 5 mil, the 9 mil travel spray. You can get a 1 mil. I don't mess with those 1 mil dabbers anymore because they have a little dabber top. I need a spray. So I need at least a 2 mil. But those are available on ScentSplit if you want to try this out. It'll be linked down below. This, I mean, hello, I could douse myself in this. Freaking beautiful. Princess princess pastry beautiful. Ugh, I just adore it. I adore it. I'm like in a love affair with this bottle now. Then another release that I think passed a lot of people by. I'm not sure what people were expecting from it. Maybe it was late this spring into early summer, sometime in there. It's High Tea from Brown Girl Jane. There were a few from this house that I could have put in this video. I'm really enjoying them. There was one, the latest release I didn't really the top of the year. There was a release at the top of the year that I wasn't so crazy about. I forget what it's called. But this one, Dawn, Carnival, Carousel, loving all of those. and maybe a few others. Casablanca is beautiful from this line as well. This high tea is so delightful, so delicately feminine, yet slightly, like ever so slightly nuanced with gourmand touches. It's like a sprinkle of gourmand. Here's the description. Warm floral perfume captures French madeleines and macarons with spiced pink chai, bright orange flower water, and freesia floating above creamy whipped milk. The dry down reveals sandalwood, amber, and sweet biscotti, creating a gourmand scent that smells like a luxury bakery. I don't think it smells like a luxury bakery, but I think it has like a nuance, like an interpretive nuance of what bakery smells might smell like. The keynotes, Madeleine, pink chai, and biscotti. I definitely get some of the sort of chai spiciness, ever so light though. This is the thing about a lot of the fragrances I'm going to talk about today. The notes that would be gourmand in them are just sprinkles. Like they're lightly done. It's like a waft through the fragrance versus an overwhelming presence. Well, excuse me. A couple of the ones I'm going to talk about at the end maybe have a little bit more overt gourmand nature to them. But at least these first four that I'm talking about, it's on the softer end. This is such a gentle floral. It's almost like a clean, nearly soapy smelling floral with this little bit of chai and this sort of delicate wraparound, sweet pastry vibe to it. And I really enjoy this. It's more interpretive than literal, and I appreciate that. And I think it's just a fun fragrance here for fall. You could definitely like late spring, early fall. Any winter day where you just want it to smell girly and feminine and just a tad bit spicy and pastry like with your sweater on. So this is like a cowl neck, dress that I have on. I would wear it with something like this. And then the fragrance that people lost their minds over, they either loved it or were disappointed that it wasn't gourmand enough for them or projecting and long lasting enough for them. Valentino's Donna, born in Roma, Rendezvous Ivory. What a long name. I think this is gorgeous. The more that I sniff this, the more that I play with this and wear it, the more I think that this is just absolutely fantastic. The keynotes are mandarin, marshmallow, vanilla. There's orange blossom in the fragrance as well. I mean, let me take a second to give it up to this ivory bottle that I think is just so pretty. It is perfect in hand. It's a lot more sort of creamy colored in person than it is on screen. It appears almost white on screen. I think this is beautiful. It has this very sort of clean nature to it. It feels bright and fresh, yet sweet and huggable, like a sweetened, sugared floral accord. I do get some fluffy marshmallow type of texture versus like literal marshmallow smell. I get the beautiful vanilla. This is great. I really enjoy this. When I first got this, the longevity was fairly weak, I would say, in maybe in the few hours range. It's lasting a little bit longer now. I would say this is about like a half a day's wear, although there are people that have reported that this is lasting on them up to 8 hours or more. The longevity piece doesn't bother me at all. I think this is beautiful. It's feminine. It's sweet. It's delicate. It's light. It's fluffy. And it's clean while still having some depth from the vanilla that make it great for this time of year. I think this is a real winner of a fragrance. So this gets 2 thumbs up, and I adore this. Another of my treasured purchases of the year, and one that's really hard to describe because it's so like subtly nuanced. This is from Kheir. It's called Sunset Caramel. And this really quirky looking bottle, I actually appreciate that it's unique and different. The bottle, the coloring, the packaging, all of that. The description here, an explosion of gourmand sweetness and sensuality. Top notes are creamy milk, exotic coconut, delicate almond, a touch of anise. In the heart, white flowers, heliotrope, orange blossom, ylang ylang, nectarine peach. And then in the base, vanilla, caramel, ambergris, tonka bean, sandalwood. A sugary elegance that is never cloying. That's literally in the description, and I think that's right. And it's sugary in an ethereal way, not like a literal sugar bomb of a fragrance. Like in a video that I just posted, I talked about My Gourmand, that was too heavy, too literal, too creamy and sugary. This is a subtle sugariness. It is sweet. It is like a heavenly, ethereal, floral nature. It does have some of those gourmand facets, like a really soft caramel, like a nuanced, soft, wispy, tender caramel in the background versus an ooey gooey version. It's soft, it's creamy, it's fluffy, it's all of the things, and it has a touch of fruity nuance as well. I think this is so beautiful, so feminine, delicate, easygoing wear for this time, any time of year, but especially this time of year. If you're not ready for super heavy fragrances yet, but you want something that kind of puts you in the mindset of cozy fall goodness. While it's cozy, it also has this like feminine, grown up sensuality to it that I think the bottle betrays that part of it. Like it doesn't show that. This seems playful and youthful. There is an elegant sensuality in this fragrance that I don't think is expressed through the packaging. And it probably is coming from those more mature florals in here. And it's another one that's just so pretty. So then let's talk about four that are a little bit more on the heavier, meatier side, but aren't quite into deep winter territory just yet. I mean, you of course could wear these in cold weather. This one is for the pistachio lovers because it does have like almost like a dry pistachio in it. It's latte pistachio. So even though the pistachio part of this feels like a dry roasted pistachio, the rest of the fragrance has this sort of creamy and airy nature to it. The top notes here, pistachio, orange, and lemon. In the middle, coriander, milk, and cardamom. So the spices in here are very light and slight. They're not heavy. And in the base, sandalwood, musk, and amber. Here's the description. It's luxurious and indulgent. It blends the creamy warmth of a frothy latte with the rich, nutty essence of pistachio. I feel like that's right on. Like this doesn't smell like you'd walk into Starbucks and here you have your frothy latte. Again, this is like an artistic interpretation of that, just like BEIRUT baklava is an artistic interpretation of a baklava dessert. If you've tried tacita de café from day three, the way that that has this sort of coffee-esque vibe to it, almost like the air might smell just as you walk into a coffee shop, right? You're not quite there yet. It's not smacking you in the face, but it's maybe wafting through the parking lot, enticing you to come in. That is kind of what this is like with this airy whipped nature and a toasted pistachio note. Yes, that's what you get here. Warm, cozy, not too heavy. Of the four that I'm going to talk about that are on the heavier end, not too heavy. Still, it's maybe like an in between in terms of like the lighter ones I just mentioned and the super heavy ones. Latte pistachio. Worth checking out, particularly if you are a pistachio lover. And then speaking of pistachio, an oldie but a goodie if you can find it. I think it's getting harder to find. It's Elie Saab's Girl of Now. This one is almond and pistachio and tonka bean primarily. There are other notes, but that really is what stands out. Perhaps a little bit of the orange blossom. So think floral and nutty accord together. Very warm, very enveloping. What a pretty bottle. Sorry that I haven't shined up this top for you, but sort of an Art Deco style, which I think is nice. This one was super popular on fragrance YouTube back in 2019-ish, 2018, 2019, 2020, like in that time frame. You saw this in many videos as a recommendation and the flankers of this as well. Yeah, it's a decadent, nutty, vanillic orange blossom fragrance. Really delightful, really warm, really cozy. And it's very feminine as well. Harder to find. I'll see if I can link this for you, maybe from Fragrance Net or something like that down below. All right, so then maybe like a floral gourmandy kind of fragrance, and one of my favorites in my collection. I love the bottle. I love the whole idea of this. I treasure this fragrance. It means something special to me. I'll just leave it at that. I won't get into all of that. But this is from Bond Number 9, and this is Tribeca. It's got this sort of like reptile print on it, which I think is kind of funky and cool. And this is beloved in the fragrance community as like smelling like almost a gourmand version of Baccarat Rouge 540. Yes, it has some of that sort of background DNA of Baccarat Rouge. There's ambroxan in the fragrance, so I want to be sure that you know that, which is supposed to mimic the smell of like amber, like a musky, ambery tone as a base note, and it's a fixative that makes a fragrance last quite a long time. So this is a pretty long-lasting fragrance, but if you're sensitive to those kinds of notes, just know there is ambroxan in the fragrance. The other thing to note about the fragrance that people love is there's a combination of a cacao note and a hazelnut note and a caramel note that sort of combine together to give you a little bit of a gourmand touch here, just enough to make this warm and inviting and like semi gourmand. There's a white floral in the fragrance as well. So think ambroxan, think that gourmand accord created by a combination of a gentle caramel, a nuttiness, and a slight chocolate nuance. To me, the nuttiness sticks out further than the cacao and the caramel in the fragrance, and then a white floral accord, which I think make it perfect. This is a little bit heavier than the others, and so that's why it's at the back of the list in terms of the density, the thunder that it brings. It's not a thunderous fragrance. It's actually still, fairly feminine and soft, but it does have presence and it has longevity. And then another favorite for 2025, I sampled this and just fell in love with it. And again, another perfume that I was going to bypass. I tried it, thought it was okay, put the sample aside, didn't think much of it, came back to the sample and said, oh my gosh, I think I need this. From Sensatio, it's Golden Pistachio. And I've got my fingerprints all over this, so I'm just going to leave it like that so you don't have to stare at my fingerprints. Listen, I have talked about this perfume video after video after video. I adore it. It's so freaking good. It's got the combination of a nutty accord, a little bit of an ice cream touch to it. There's vanilla in the base. It also has a boozy note. I can't say that I pick up a boozy note independent of the others, but it's just rich and decadent and just freaking fabulous. Pistachio, vanilla, almond, tonka bean, ice cream, musk. There's even an apple and a pear note. Oh, I just adore this as being on the more fun side of what a gourmand perfume can smell like while also having a vanilla base. I would, even if I didn't know any better, tell you that this had some prominent florals. It does not. There's a peony note in the fragrance, but I also feel like there are other soft white florals like jasmine sambac or something like that. And it's so good. Soft, it's feminine, it's inviting, has that little bit of an ice cream touch, so it has a desserty nature to it without making me nauseous. Like, it's not a nauseating gourmand at all. It's on the softer, easier going side of gourmands. And I just love this. I love this. All of the fragrances that I've talked about today are fabulous. I hope you get to try them. They're beautiful and they're worth attention if this category of fragrances is for you. Everything will be linked below if you'd like to try these out or grab a decant and see if they tickle your fancy. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hope to see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed and you like this kind of content, please consider doing so. Would love to have you join the channel. And I've got some other fall fragrance videos coming up, including cozy vanillas, heavy hitter fall fragrances, spooky season fragrances, and a bunch more. We're going to load it up. We're going to load it up with videos for fall. Thank you. See you in the next one. Take care.